I'm Carole Souter. I'm a trustee of the Oxford Preservation Trust. And so you may think that I'm about to say we can't do anything at all to anything. We've just got to leave it as it is, which is, of course, the last thing I want to say. The Preservation Trust was established in 1927, and it said then, Oxford is growing. Its growth may be guided, but should not be grudged. The work of the Trust is not to hamper Oxford, but to help it. Oxford is not a museum piece, it's a living thing. So that's where we're starting from. And I would really like to pick up on what Chris has just said about wanting the impossible and believing it's possible and it can be delivered. So I don't think it's at all impossible to protect beautiful places, to protect the heritage and the history that we have, whilst also making those places more fit for the future, adapting them, providing opportunities. Solar on roofs obviously is a possibility, but I think one of the challenges that we need to think about is where the solar production is coming from outside the city. How does that sit in the green spaces around the city? What does it do to the views, which are so important to Oxford and so much what people think about when they think of Oxford? We might have a conversation about where exactly you're putting those wind farms, Chris. But I think that what we should be doing is making sure that absolutely everything we can do, we do when it comes to new building, that we make sure that the planning of new communities and new building takes account of renewable energy, that we think about whether new developments and new structures have got the charging points for the electric cars. There's not really much point building these wonderful places on the fringe of Oxford and then saying, oh, we forgot to make it possible for you to have electric cars, so you're going to have to put your car in the garage and drive with your traditional engine as it is. So we've got to take those sorts of things into account. We've got to make sure that the planning framework for public transport is such that people don't just have to use their own resources. They don't have to take their life in their hands on their cycles. If they want to go by train, perhaps they can go by train. And what are we thinking about in terms of extending train routes out for communities that will be on the fringe of the city? So my version of let's, I've forgotten the phrase already, but let's dream for the impossible, is let's make it beautiful and integrated with the city we've got and not destroy what we have in thinking about how we go forward for the future.